And of course, our cloud is a maker space. It's a space where we want you to come create your products, your applications, and then distribute them to the incredible ecosystem that H2O has fostered. And we are here because of that incredible partnerships. And as you can imagine, a large part of that end-to-end innovation, especially around the data side, both on the engineering side and the Kubernetes deployment cloud side, are coming from our partners. And today we have the opportunity to bring two of those partners to the fore and have them present how we are working together. Let me introduce, it's a pleasure to introduce Snowflake's Miles Atkins, who's a specialist in financial markets. He's been working very closely with H2O, prolific principal systems engineer, a darling of our customers, Eric Gudgeon.
Great, I'll just take over here. All right, there we go. All right, hello everybody. Yeah, so I'm Miles Atkins. I'm a partner sales engineer here at Snowflake, responsible for our AI and ML machine learning partners. And so obviously H2O is a elite partner with Snowflake. Just wanted to give you a quick kind of run through. When we think of Snowflake, you traditionally think of us being a data warehouse, but we've made a ton of advancements and put out a bunch of different new features to really help that data science, machine learning lifecycle. And so we obviously have 6 distinct workloads that we can, run for you on Snowflake. We can ingest a variety of different types of data, structured, semi-structured, unstructured data from a ton of different data sources, and then obviously make that data available to a variety of different data consumers. But wanted to really focus in on, our data science capabilities and what we've started to enable to really, push this data science workload forward for us. We can do actually a ton of things related to the machine learning lifecycle just inside of Snowflake. And what customers really love about this is our first features that we put out were really around, built-in security, governance, query performance. And so as those kinds of topics, really come to light as, there's more, big headlines about, data security, that kind of thing. Our customers are really loving that we've built this sort of data bank where, they know they can put their data in, and we've built the entire suite of security and governance, into the fabric of our offering. And so when it comes to data prep, there's nothing stopping you from doing data prep, feature engineering inside of Snowflake. We just came out with what we're calling Snowpark and Java UDFs, where instead of having to write a bunch of nuanced code in SQL, and it can get pretty complicated when you think about nesting different queries together, we've given you the ability to program in your language of choice. And so right now we have Scala and Java available, where you can type in those languages and we'll convert your code into SQL, which our engine can then run. And then for UDFs, we actually give you the ability to run and create your own custom Java code, and then execute that inside of our SQL engine as well. And so this is really opening up a whole new avenue of how you interact with our platform, which is meant to attract a lot more of the data engineering, data science personas. And then we have a bunch of different other capabilities. Obviously, for pipelines, we have streams and tasks. And so if you think of, Apache Airflow or some sort of just, change data capture mechanism, we have all of that in-house, so you can manage and automate a lot of your processing, maybe for, just your scoring when you have a deployment. And then, of course, what we're known for is our third-party marketplace, where a bunch of different of our customers are putting their own data up into the marketplace. And Feeder is a great example of that. And instead of having to send over FTP files, emailing CSV files, you can make your data or grab data and basically just see it right in your own sandbox when you go to think about enriching your data sets, which is awesome. Now, where we don't cover, and this is why we partner deeply with H2O, is on the model training side. And so we obviously don't have any capability to, for you to train a model inside of Snowflake. And so with H2O, we have a bunch of different native connectors, that can be created to do your model training. For deployment, now with Java UDFs, you can actually take an H2O model that you created and bring that into Snowflake. And so instead of having to, move maybe hundreds of thousands or millions of rows of data across some, internet pipe to score your model that's living in some other environment, you can just bring the model to the data and score. And with that, you get to leverage, Snowflake's unlimited scale up and scale out capability. And so whether you're scoring, 20,000 rows or 20 million rows, you can get the compute capacity that you need to make that an efficient job. If that doesn't work for you, we also have external functions. And so your data might be living, inside of Snowflake. You might have some more intricate Kubernetes cluster that you're managing your H2O model on. We can set up an external function that calls that API, your model API, and basically can pipe your Snowflake data, get your model results, and send it back in one seamless fashion as well. And then, of course, for model monitoring and management, we don't have any, out-of-the-box capability for that either. But there's a ton of capability where H2O will use Snowflake on the back end as the system of record, where you still get the scaling capability and all the sharing capabilities to allow different teams across your organization see what's the performance of the model's business impact, that kind of thing. And so with that, I'm going to throw it over to Eric here, who can walk you through some of the Snowflake and H2O integrations that we have here.
You're muted, Eric.
Oh, sorry about that. So what we're looking at here is the Snowflake application built with Wave. And what this allows us to do is to connect to Snowflake and use those powerful APIs that Miles just talked about. This means that business users can collect data, start training, or even score models directly. Now, the interesting thing we're seeing here is that you could pick the model to score directly in Snowflake at a different time, or even using some of those external functions. What ends up happening is that as we train and score, we write these monitoring records. So data scientists and business users can see if the models have finished training and if there are any errors during that training session as well. Very powerful stuff, an easy way to consume that. On the next slide, what we actually see is the ability to still use the traditional tools. So as Miles was mentioning, we can leverage things like the Java UDF and Snowpark, which are amazing technologies to scale. We will also auto-generate the notebook and worksheets for Snowflake as well. So any of the tools and any of the users that want to consume those models can still do it in the same way as they did, or through the Wave application. And then when we look at the deployment parts of this, the idea behind Wave is to really unify the entire experience for any of the users that are using the technology. So we might build a model outside of Snowflake and actually upload it as we see here. Then what we can do is we can pick how we want to deploy that model, and it will automatically upload and deploy into Snowflake and be available immediately so that you can score at any of your data at scale. And then of course, any of the reporting, any of the drift detection that we do with Snowflake as that system of record is picked up straight away. A very powerful combination together. So with that, I'll just pass it back to Christoph to talk about the AWS piece as well. Thank you.
Welcome, Christoph.
Thank you. Thank you, Sir Ethan. Thank you. I'll just start video as well. And welcome to H2OLive. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. And it's truly an honor to be on this journey with H2O in partnership for democratizing machine learning. And what I brought quickly is actually ties very well to in this journey to put AI into the hands of every customer. And then as actually Samir mentioned, that around 2017, we were pretty good at putting things together. Customers started to become pretty good at putting things together. So science leaders then actually made machine learning applicable for product managers who built into their products. But then we see an evolution that is unfolding with first in this current wave, vertical leaders wanting to consume bespoke, tailored applications. And also we see another wave that actually line of business leaders such as CFO automation, CMO automation, wanting to consume AI applications. So that's why we are particularly excited to be in partnership with H2O, in which AWS simplifies the deploying, the managing, and connecting the data to the H2O AI hybrid cloud. So using Kubernetes on AWS is really taking off, making the operation and the innovation in the machine learning lifecycle, being able to connect to our wonderful partners, Snowflake as well, which we co-build a lot together as well. And then with AWS's data lake and lake house architecture, which I will expand a bit on how can customers build a modern data architecture that they can tap into with H2O, or as well as ADX, AWS data exchange, where if they would need, we saw various examples where they would need additional accuracy, and then they can just reach out and enrich the data on which they can train their models. And so with this, and like what happened in the past is that, especially in the past years, customers got exposed to an unseen and unforeseen amount of data, and they sit mostly in different silos. And then those silos came with various problems, that they were unavailable, the authorization problems, or they were not necessarily at the right price performance level. And so for that, customers really wanted to have a ability to use the right tool, whether it be log analytics, or whether it be documents, or whether it be draft data, and then to move data between them, as we call them at the periphery, or to move them from the periphery into the data lake, or from the data lake outside to these. And that's a modern architecture that we call the lakehouse architecture. So in the lakehouse architecture, customers build scalable data lakes with using these purpose-built data services with seamless data movement and unified governance at the right performance, price performance ratio. And so with this ability, the machine learning capabilities of H2O are tapping into these established methodologies and infrastructures, manifesting the H2O and the AWS partnership with the fast and simple implementation using managed services, either with the data or even under the hood, using Kubernetes and the entire AWS service suite. And also the third piece is that there's a tremendous synergy in the additional partner-to-partner capabilities. So as for example, as AI apps, as I've mentioned, become more more relevant for line of businesses, which are like requiring automation, then connecting the partners to partners in AWS, more than 100,000 partners, like from RPA or intelligent process automation partners with H2O, or the system integrators bringing in additional apps in the app store. The opportunity is endless to give now really practical, useful, rich, and powerful solutions to the increasingly diverse customer needs around machine learning. So with that, we're really excited about onboarding using more of H2OLive, H2O3, driverless AI, and I'm happy to answer any of the questions in the chat panel discussion with my peers. Thank you.